Hey guys, it's me again, Orc Slayer. What is? Where you last left off? I got tea this time. Rundown. Deku and them didn't really do anything much last time. They did a few things here and there. But the main part is what happened at the end. What happened at the end is that Deku finally decided that he was going to go to a church again. Because he's worked up the courage to, because the night before he had talked to Jackster about Josephine and got the Bible out and had ran down memory lane for a little bit. And so what he decides to do is that he says, I'm gonna go back. So he gets up, goes to church, and actually runs into Ibarra. Ibarra and her family are having this, going there, and he held the door open for them, being a nice person, a gentleman, you could say. And so he decides to just go in as they're about to sit down for mass. He's in one of the bigger chairs that they got. Then a couple of guys just decide, you know what, we just robbed the place, let's go into a church. And so they kick down the doors, come in, and have everyone hostage now. Police are outside. They know this is a hostage situation with a pretty decent amount of people inside this church. Now typically they would probably just try to shoot people, but this church is different, not as well made, but what it is that there aren't as many windows as there typically are. This church was made just like a shack somewhat. Not a lot of windows for some reason. Deku's like, most churches I went to when I was a kid had a lot more windows. Why do these ones not have so many? They have some at the front. That's it. As he's thinking about this, he's like, no point dwelling on it. But as the villains, and as Deku had noticed, one of them's on something, since he could see it in the eyes and the tremors that the guy's shaking a lot. He decides, as we go outside, we see a group of heroes talking together, as Fat Gum's like, just one of the informants had to run to a goddamn church, as he's eating some of his snacks, as he's like, this is getting so fucking frustrating. As he's rubbing his forehead, he's like, what do you think we should do? As he talks to one of the heroes, as I'll say this hero, let's just say, well, what good hero? I'm trying to think of what hero that we have seen before. Let's just say what so happens, Gang Orca, Fat Gum, and let's just say for some reason, it's even Gran Torino. Randomly. Let's just say Gran Torino was going through one of these days. Let's say they're actually close. They're actually in Hosu City for the moment. Let's say they're in Hosu City, and Gran Torino decided to do there to get some hero work done. As he was getting off the train and heading around using his cane, he comes across a situation. As he walks over, he's like, excuse me, young man, what's going on here? They're like, are you a hero? He's like, well, I'm not wearing the silly costume just because I'm a fanboy. As they're like, as Fat Gum comes over there, it's like, oh, hey, you're one of the older heroes, right? What's your name? It's like, Gran Torino. Is like, I think I heard of you one. You taught during, as Gang Orca's like, you taught during when All Might was going to school, correct? He's like, yeah, that's me. Now, as he's like, what situation do we got here? He's like, well, one of the informants of a drug ring that Fat Gum was going after has run inside with his gang and has an entire church held up hostage. It's like, see, it's quite a tricky situation now. As he's stroking his beard, he's like, do you have a number of how many there are? And they're like, there's 4 at the very least. And he's like, right. Any number of civilians in there? It's like, nope. They haven't said anything yet. They're just biding their time. As Gang Orca says, we should take this easily, Fat Gum. He's like, I know, I just don't like standing here while innocents are at play. As Gran Torino's just like, I agree with you, newbie, but we should take this slow. I have no idea what their quirks should be, and what kind of drugs do they have. Sorry, I'm taking drinks in between. It's just keep my throat not from drying out. Fat Gum says, well, obviously they have some form of trigger or something like that. Quirk enhancing drug that makes people go completely berserk. in a lot of cases. Some of them are able, who take it enough get used to it, you could say. Side effects are less side effects, you could say. It's like, I know what you mean. This is quite tricky indeed. As they're just sitting there as the police like say, hey, we got one of them coming out. As they send out the pastor to like give the words of what they want in return for like letting the civilians go. As Deku, as they're like, they want all the heroes to back off and they want a helicopter. It's like, they're not even worried about the police. They just said the heroes. As they're like, well, they know Gang Orca is here, so they're probably more willing to back off. Is what Fatgum says. Gang Orca says, but we can't really give up that stress that we have upon them. They don't know you're here, Gran Torino. It's like, you got a plan, Orca? And he's like, what's your quirk? He's like, I can blast air from my feet, and I can go pretty fast. If I get inside the church, I could probably take care of the guys in a matter of seconds. As he's like, here's the plan. We send you in as a hostage. As Gang Orca's like, you can't, as not Gang Orca, Fatgum's like, you can't be serious, Gang Orca. It's like, well, it makes most sense. And in exchange, they let a bunch of the civilians go. As Gran Torino's, or I'll just be calling him Torino. As Torino's like, it's a pretty good idea, Gang Orca, or Orca. Alright, I say we go with it. As Fatgum's like, alright. As they tell the pastor to go back inside and give the message. As he's like, alright. As he walks back inside, the villains get the message, and this is what's been going on for the past 7 minutes. Excuse me. For the villains. As all the people are waiting there, just waiting to see what's happening, they're like, alright. As the villains are like, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? As they're all freaking out, having their like thing, like they're screaming at themselves, what are they gonna do about this? They don't know. They're, like I said, are freaking out. One's like twitching, and Deku's like, as he's like, I don't want to risk it all. They're not spread out enough, and I'm not close enough to get one. If I try to grab one, they're end up gonna freak out and shoot up people. As the leader calls over one of his boys, like, to bring the preacher over, he's like, get over here. As the guy picks up the preacher and just starts dragging him, he's like, as he throws him like on the ground next to the boss, he's like, you're gonna give the heroes our demands, understood? As okay, just don't hurt anyone. He's like, don't tell me hurt anyone. I won't. As he's just like, now we want all the heroes to back off, and we want a helicopter. You understand that? As like, yes, all right. As he's like, fine then. As he picks him up and then boots him on the butt, he's like, get going then. You escort him out. As the guy's like still like very twitching, as he's like, you got boss. As even his henchmen can see that their boss is like twitching and unhinged, they're like, he may start going into withdrawal a little bit. We better be ready to ditch his ass. And have I been okay? Yeah, this thing has still heard me, I think. Sorry about that. I just realized my mic wasn't plugged in, and I was recording it through the actual like computer's hearing. So if you guys actually tell me guys how you think of the audio like stacks up against one another. I would actually like to hear what your guys' opinion on. Do you prefer it with the mic or without? But I digress. Deku's watching these guys as he's like, alright, boss is there. They're there. As he's looking around, as he's on the ground, he actually starts to move a little bit. Like, as he takes a step forward, it's like, hey! As one of the villains noticed he moved, he's like, quit moving. As he's like, okay. As he like just lays down completely, he's like, can't even move a muscle with these guys here. As then Pastor comes back in from like talking with the heroes, as the villain's just like, he's like, all right. So he's looking around. He's like, well, it seems like a lot of families came with their kids here. As he like gets a smile on his face, he's like, oh yeah, this is gonna work. All right, round up all the adults. As all the adults are like picked up, as a lot of the kids are like, Mom, Dad, as they're like freaking out where the kids are being taken, it's like, get all the kids and put them in the area. As one of them like comes to grab Deku, as he notices the villain's our own place. Okay. As he's like, wait a minute. So he looks at him, he's like, leave him here, actually. He's like, why? He looks pretty tough. He can probably be used as a meat shield. As they have Deku sit by all the kids, as all the kids are like freaking out, they're like, what are we gonna do? As Ibara is like trying to calm everybody down, as Deku lets off a low rumble through his throat. He's like, calm down. We are in safe hands. The heroes will be here and help. As a trigger, let's say the leader says, if you don't shut up, I'm gonna cut out your tongue. As Deku's like, as he just like puts a thing on his lips saying, shh. As all the kids are like freaking after hearing the guy's gonna cut out their tongue. So Deku's like, alright, calm down. As they're all just sitting there quietly, they see Gran Torino come in. As Gran Torino's like, as the boss is like, they send in this old piece of... Not this gonna work. He's old. He's withered. It'd be easier to control. He's like, let's do this. It's like, you got a helicopter on the way, old man. As Gran Torino's like, what? Say again, sonny. As he's like, oh, take this old geezer back to the kids. As they're all standing there, or sitting there on the ground, Deku's like making sure all the kids are comfortable. As in Gran Torino's like, he's like, you there, big guys. And Deku looks at him, he's like, make sure this old geezer doesn't wander off. As a like older guy throws, like sort of has picked him up and throws him at Deku. As Deku catches him, he's like, what? As he's like, you heard me, watch him. As he just looks away, as he's like, okay. He's like, you okay, old man? As he's like, as he like switches from dumb mode, he's like, yeah, I'm doing just fine. You kids alright? And you, sir? As all the kids are like, yeah, well, we're good. As Ibarra's like, we're doing just fine, hero, sir. As he's like, and what's your name? He's like, the name's Izuku. As he's like, alright then. What did I call you? Give me a second. I had it written down somewhere. As he's like, name's Izuku Daniels. As Torino's just like, pretty cool name. Alright, so what do you want to do? As Deku's like, me, he's like, well, you guys are the ones that got a plan, right? As in, don't worry, we got a plan. Those youngsters are getting everything set up as we speak. As Deku's like, oh, thank God. As he's like, as he lets out like some of like a soft growl, they're like, hey, what did I tell you? As the leader comes over and like sort of hits Deku over the head with his gun. As all the kids are like freak out a little bit, Deku's like head just doesn't even budge when the guy hits his head. He's like, damn, you're thick-skulled. Keep going, and I'm shooting you. As Deku's like, alright. He's like, was that attitude I hear? As Deku's like, no. As he's trying to put on a more intimidating voice, as everyone's like, as Ibarra's like, he spoke so politely earlier. Now he's like sounding like slightly like an animal. As he's like, rip. As Gran Torino's like, calm yourself, son. If you lose control now, he may talk to the other kids. As Deku's like, I know. As Gran Torino's like, this guy sounds like he is not having a good day. As Deku like gets his Bible out and just like he's like, keep calm, calm, Josephine, guide me. As he feels himself starting to calm down, thinking about Josephine, he's like, oh. As the leader was quite worried about when they saw Deku kind of get angry a bit, because they're like, I don't think our guns would do shit against him. So let's try to keep the giant murder gator happy. It means only threats, do not actually attempt to hurt the kids. You got it, boys. As even the leader, in his somewhat altered state, knows not to mess with Deku. And he's like, I really, really hope. What the fuck just touched me? Okay, that was a shirt. Jesus Christ, that scared the crap out of me. Oh, that's unless there's like some sort of sleep paralysis demon just going around me. Nope. All right, I'm good. But anyways, Deku decides that he needs to keep himself calm. That if he loses control now, all these kids' lives will be at stake, and he doesn't want that on his conscience. So he focuses himself and makes himself remember to keep calm and to keep peaceful. As he's like, where are those damn heroes? As we're going to cut like a little bit, like an hour or so ahead of time, Deku's looking and reading his Bible. As one of the guys come over and is like, hey, look at this. As he snatches the Bible up, and Deku goes to go snatch it, as he's like, hey, get down, I'm just reading here. This is a place of God, is it not? As one of the guys have gotten kind of bored of just waiting around, as Torino's like, calm yourself, boy, do not let yourself lose it. As Deku's like, sorry, I know the snarling and stuff sounds dumb, but I'm just trying to give you guys why do I do this? Why? As he does like a very vicious sounding snarl, as it's like, good boy. As he's just reading this, he's like, and thou shalt faith. He's like, what the fuck is this? As he's reading it, he's like, as he's reading the Bible, he's like, this sounds weird, completely weird. I really hate this. As he's just reading this, he's like, no, this is why I never got into church. He's like, as he just throws the Bible across the room, he's like, boring. As Deku wants to get up and go grab it, but one of the person says is like, alright, that's it. You've been given a warning. As he comes over and shoots Deku in the shoulder, as the bullet just hits it, and then Deku just looks at it and just, as it doesn't, he's not even bleeding, as the guy's like, why the fuck are you not bleeding? It's like, what are you made out of? As Deku just like reaches over and flicks the bullet, he's like, your friend took my Bible. I'm retrieving it. As the guy's like, okay now. As he goes over to the Bible and looks at it, he's like, fuck, this thing's heavy. As he's lifting it up, one of the guys is just like, oh, wait, is that... Man, that Bible's huge. Let me see it. As he comes over and trying to grab it, Deku is able to get it before him, since the guy who shot him says, the killer croc needs this. The crocodile thing needs this. Give it to him. As he just hands it off. As then, that's when the heroes make the room, as Gang Orca comes through the ceiling. As everyone's like, what the fuck? As the window that they did have was able to see, like, how villains move around. So when they saw, like, a few villains move to the left side, let's just say, of the room, that's when Gang Orca dropped through the ceiling. As Deku covers everybody, he's like, get down! As Gran Torino's like, damn it. As he, like, goes to jump up to try and see if he can deflect the stuff. But Deku even got him inside his, like, little shielding maneuver. As the guy's like, damn it, kid, move! As in the like tiny bit of rubble crashes down on Deku, as he's like, whoa! As in one of the villains goes to shoot, like just spray, but he gets hit by something, by Gang Orca's like little sonic wave attack. As his aim goes off and goes to aim at a couple of the kids. So what happens is that Deku moves over into the line of fire to use his back to cover him as he's like, I got you, don't worry. As he takes the shots just fine as he grabs one of the pews and just launches it at this person as it crashes into him as it almost kills him. As Gang Orca's like, careful what you do. You don't want being charged with murder. As he's like, they're shooting me. What do you expect me not to do? As Deku just covers all the people that are behind him. As he covers Ibarra, the kids, even Gran Torino's like, don't worry about me. As he jumps up and uses Deku as a star point. He's like, good luck. As Deku and all to move away. As he's like... As he looks over and gang work as Deku's mask actually got hit a little bit. As Deku has to just takes it off because it's in tatters anyway. Gang Orca looks him in the eyes. As he can see, Gang Orca has this little flash of realization as Gang Orca's like, wait a minute, you stop! As Deku immediately they notice me and he books it. He jumps, gets all the kids escorted out as he says goodbye to everybody. As he tries to slow wait, the police are trying to keep him there for questioning, but he's like, I'm sorry, but I have errands to run. As he gets out of the police grasp somewhat after a little bit of conversation. As then Gang Orca sees Deku moving down the street as he's like, stop him! As it's like, wait, what? As Deku's running away, as they're like, oh crap, they're on me. He looks over, jumps over, as there's a sewage, a sewer lid right there, as he takes it off. As he's like, stop there, Izuku! We know your name! Please cease and desist! As I said, Gang Orca knows what Deku looks like. And is actually been trying to track him down because he sees Deku as a troubled kid. And so with the need for guidance, as he actually saw I said, he did see Deku with Looney. As he's like, alright. As Deku gets down to the drain and actually breaks open the thing a bit more, as he just starts rushing through the sewers, as he's like, crap. As he looks behind him, he sees Gang Orca behind him, as Deku's like, come on. As he's like, leave me alone. As he turns a sharp corner and is just like, gotta lose him in this maze. Deku goes around a corner, waits, and then as soon as Gang Orca rounds it, Deku punches him right in the face. As he shoulder checks Gang Orca into a wall as he just headbutts him. As in Gang Orca uses his sonar, sort of sonar sonic attack, and hits Deku with it. He's like, oh, what is this? As Deku sort of grabs his face and goes to swing again at Gang Orca, but kind of misses as he's like, oh, what is that? As he shakes his head, he's like, oh. It's like, Izuku, calm down. You will come with me now. If you surrender yourself, as Deku's like, no way. No way. You ain't putting me back in the system. Had enough of that. Plus, I ain't going to juvie or jail. As he, gets in a stance as Gang Orca's like, do not make me do this, kid. As he's like, I'm not making you do anything. You could easily have let me be. As Deku and him are having that standoff, then Gran Torino and Fat Gum couldn't come. As he's off, trying to deal with the informant. As Gran Torino's, coming down. As Deku sees that Gran Torino's right there, he's like, it's not easily maneuverability. As he's big and so is Gang Orca. He's let's say a little bit, a couple of heads shorter than Gang Orca. But he does seem as muscular as Gang Orca. And he's got Gran Torino at his back. As he goes to be offensive, as it's stand down, kid, we don't want to hurt you. As Deku's like, then let me leave. So he charges forward trying to get at Gang Orca, but he uses his sonar attack again as Deku's like, oh, this ain't right. As he actually goes to slash and actually cuts into Gang Orca's shirt and such, as Gang Orca jumps back as he doesn't have any, he isn't bleeding, But then Gran Torino goes back and just does a double kick to Deku's back. As Deku is very slow and disoriented. He backs up into one of the hallways. He's like, ugh. As they're moving back, Deku sees that he's below another storage drain. He's like, we're quite a distance away. As he jumps up, breaks through, and it's just like, ugh. Alright, in the bad part of town. As Deku grabs a sewer lid and starts running, it's like, get back here! As he's running down an alleyway, he tosses the sewer lid back at them. Gran Torino's like, as Gang Orca grabs it while Gran Torino's launching above him, he's like, I'll keep on the kid. So he was like, what do you want, old man? Leave me be. It's like, you seemed a lot more polite while in church. Were you just honoring the house of God? As he then jumps down on Deku's head. As he shakes it, he's like, ugh. It's like, stand down, kid, and come quietly. As Deku's just like, no way. You see, he's looking around. He's like, okay. As he jumps forward trying to grab at Gran Torino, but Gran Torino is just too fast. He jumps away and is on the wall. As he does the move where he jumps all over the walls, as he just keeps doing that, as Deku's like, dang it, he's too hard to follow. He's like, I can't keep it, it's going too fast. As Gang Orca comes around, he's like, oh, there he is. As then Deku's like, oh, as he just takes a wide grasp, and actually, just by sheer luck, as Gran Torino was severely focused on him, but in that lapse of focusing on Gang Orca for that split second, with Deku reaching out, he was able to grab Gran Torino's cape and just throw him back at Gang Orca. As then Deku then grabs a garbage can that was next to him and just tosses it at the same time. As then Gran Torino's like, oh crap, as then he gets smacked, as he gets thrown into Gang Orca, who doesn't budge, and then he's got a garbage can that just flies at him. As then he's like, come on kid, this ain't fair. As Deku then continues to run as he climbs up a building. He's like, ah. Using his claws, he jumps up there and gets on there. As Gran Torino's like, ah, that hurts. Damn these old bones. As he's rubbing his back, as Gang Orca's like, are you alright? He's like, yeah, I'm fine. Kid then too bad actually. What are you waiting for? He's like, I can't climb that well. I don't have claws. As he's like, then I guess the kid's got away. As Gang Orca's like, dang it! It's right in my hands. He's like, any particular reason you're after the kid? Or man? And he's like, it's actually just a kid. He's like, excuse me? He's like, his quirk is similar to mine, makes him look like a crocodile, and he seems much older than he actually is. He attacked a couple of kids a year ago. I've been trying to track him down for a while. See, he's like, see yourself in him, eh? As he nods his head, he's like, well, ain't anything too much with that. As he just stretches his back out, he's like, dang. As he cracks his back, he's like, damn, I need to go see a recovery girl. As then you get over to Deku, as he's like, oh, thank God. He's like, alright. Thank God. As then we get over to where he gets home, as he just flops down on the couch, as it's nighttime now, as Gang Orca and Gran Torino gave up the pursuit, but they did update that they did see Deku in this part, that they saw him in Hosu, and that they should keep an eye in that area to see if he pops back up. So Deku's like, as they're like, hey hey killer, how's it going? As he's like, ran to a couple of heroes who recognized me. As he flops in his big chair, as like, whoa, what? Are you okay, man? As Sludge is like, yeah, kid, you good? It's like, you didn't tell them where we were you? Were you followed? As Looney and Jaxter's like, back off, Sludge, for a second, back off. As Decker's like, no, I wasn't followed. Surprisingly, one was an old guy and the other one was Gang Orca. It's like, what? You were followed by Gang Orca? As like, hang on, you went with the world's Japan's number 12 hero, Gang Orca. It's like, did he use his little specialized move on you? As Deku's like, oh yeah, that was. As Gang Orca's thing paralyzes people. Yeah. But I'm gonna say due to Deku's more durable physiology, thanks to his mutation quirk, similar, like I said, to Gang Orca. In terms of ability, like with Deku and Gang Orca, Deku is quite a bit below than Gang Orca at that moment, but he was still able to put up a decent fight thanks to his durability. And that was pretty much his only saving grace. That Gang Orca, if Deku, since they didn't really get into a powering contest, since Gang Orca didn't really want to hurt Deku, he just wanted to get Deku to calm down, to come with him peacefully. So that's why Deku wasn't literally just punched to the ground by Gang Orca, even though Deku has no doubt he probably could have, since Deku isn't much of a hero nerd as he was, but he does still study them a little bit. He sees an interesting hero, he reads about them, learns about their quirk, and that's about it. He doesn't think about some of the applications aside from a very select few, and Gang Orca was actually one of them. He says that he did compare himself to Gang Orca, and he kind of hopes he can be like that. To be hero even though he looks like how he looks. And so when he fought Gang Orca, he had a little bit of an edge because what he could do. But even then he's like, I got away thanks to using an old man as a scapegoat. As he's like, everything's tense though, my muscles and skeleton are he used that paralyzing move, and as he's clutching his arms, he's shaking quite a bit. He was able to go through with adrenaline and sheer toughness and sheer will. As he's like, I'm just gonna sleep for a while, alright? So he just sleeps in his chair. So he went and fought the number 12 hero. As Jack's let's not say fought, let's not send him off to fight any pro heroes, alright? As I know, I'm just saying. As it's don't think about it, Sludge. You said you wouldn't send them off to be part of the help mafias and such and have them there, but here we are. And as he bows his head, he's like, I know. It's then don't think about it. So are you going? So we're still gonna send Deku in? As they say, yeah, we're gonna send him in. It's a good idea. So what now? Well, for right now, as freaking Jackson, as Sludge is thinking about this, keep going with it going. Deku's gonna have to do the thing in a couple of days, alright? As they're alright. As in, we'll skip back over to freaking Gang Orca on them, as he gets back to Fat Gum and actually is back at the station with them, and Gran Torino just tags along just to see the situation, to see if he can help out a bit and give some insight to this matter. As then you get over to there, as it's so, how'd it go? How'd it go, Gang Orca? He's I lost him. I was that's too bad. Well, anyways, listen here. Seems like some of the bosses are going to be having a meeting soon. This is what the informant's telling me. A group of Yakuza. Don't know which one there are, but it seems like they're getting together to see some deals hash out and such. From what it sounds like, security's going to be pretty tight for them. So I'm recommending we go in with several other heroes and maybe a couple of, several squads of SWAT gear. As Gang Orca is thinking about this, he's alright, then what about heroes? What situation should we look for? As he's thinking about it, he's alright, let's bring Aizawa. I know that Aizawa is pretty good when it comes to dealing with this, and with his ability, we should be able to take out most of the villain's quirks, especially the ones who try to get trigger happy, you could say. And he's Then, let's not involve Endeavor. He's here around these parts, but let's not involve him. He can make things worse. It's alright then, how about Edshot? And maybe Best Genist. He's calling in one of the top 10 heroes? As he's yeah, Best Genist says he likes to do what he can, and from what I've heard, he hasn't been involved in anything recently. So it'd be a good start, as he's alright then, let's get started. As Gran Torino's I'll help you boys as well. That crocodile dude, for all we know, maybe. So he laughs, he's Gang Orca, maybe your fish crocodile kid, or he's his name's Izuku. He's Izuku will be at the event. From what I can maybe tell, he seems to know how to fight at least the tiniest fraction. His reaction time is crap, as well as his durability, and he seems to be strong, but he doesn't seem to put much effort in working out, as much as any other hero would. He's like, I think you may be right. So, what do you think we should do? He's like, we'll check it out and see what happens. Otherwise, don't get your hopes up. And that's where I'm going to be ending it off. Hope you guys enjoy this. Hope you guys can enjoy this. And again, tell me what you think about between just the computer versus the mic. Anyways, I hope you guys have a nice day, nice night, nice life.